G'day guys, Dyson Heppell here from the Essendon Footy Club. Very proud to be an ambassador for Scleroderma Victoria. I'm here with my mum Anne-Marie, and we're here to tell you a bit about our journey with my Oma and mum's mum with her journey through scleroderma. So at the time, I was only about 5 or 6 when Oma was diagnosed. So mum, thinking back, how was Oma first diagnosed and what was she diagnosed with?
Mum was about 55 when she was diagnosed, and she thought it was sort of a rheumatoid arthritis type of thing, which they treated her for, and she tried some drugs. Things weren't working. She was getting worse, real effects with the cold at her extremities. She had sort of itching and problems with her skin. Her hands were really tight, her facial skin was really tight, and she wondered what it was, and she went to St Vincent's and was diagnosed with scleroderma. So then it was just different drugs that they kept trying, but then she ended up with a lot of scarring on her lungs and a really low ability to breathe. And so after about 10 years, she ended up on permanent oxygen, as you would remember her carrying her bottle of oxygen around all the time. That's
probably when I first do remember something different about Oma. As I would have been 15 or 16 at the time, and that was when she went on the oxygen. And coming around, she was constantly carrying the bottle around, and I'd be talking to her, she'd be sitting on the couch, and I'd accidentally stand on her cord, and then she wouldn't get any oxygen, so she'd start gasping, so make sure you keep the cord out of the way. And I remember Opa constantly complaining about the noise at night from the oxygen tanks, but I guess the bottle soon became part of her, and it was just normality in the end. But yeah, I guess that was when I sort of took more of an interest and got to know more about scleroderma.
Yeah, Mum was great. All her trips to Melbourne, she wanted to keep being independent, and she'd bring herself down and stay the night in Melbourne, and you know, catch the train, get the trams, better than I ever have been able to, being a country girl. And she'd go to her appointments, but as the years went on and she got more breathless, she had hypertension of the heart, and so we started making the trips down with her then to Melbourne and spend the day and take her home again at night. The staff there were amazing and really took good care of her, but she had to have these tests more regularly. And I can just remember it was always an amazing feat to pass the breathing test. Because if she didn't pass the breathing test, she'd not get the drugs, you know, they wouldn't get the funding for the drugs. And so she'd get herself so worked up, and we'd have to relax her and get her ready, and then she'd go, and she'd walk so fast, and she'd sometimes be so worried she'd run out of air to be able to finish the test. And you know, so it was nearly like winning the race when she passed these tests and got her drugs again, and they kept her going. And she was amazing. She just it didn't hold her back from doing anything she wanted to do. She took her oxygen bottle. But that was Mum's main complaint. It was the lungs. It affected her internal organs, never her stomach or anything. She had a good appetite right up till when she passed away, but that was her main problems. It was the real extreme cold on her hands, the little calcified sores,
yeah,
and just couldn't breathe. And it was just so sad watching her. And then it got to Christmas. She was 72, so she'd been suffering for about 17 years with it. And Dad had Parkinson's, a little bit of dementia. She knew life was becoming hard for the family as a whole. And she told me she wanted to go into palliative care, and so probably for 3 months, I don't think I really realised how that she was going to die. I think I was just doing what she wanted me to do, even though, hey, she was in palliative care. I was giving her just drugs to keep her comfortable.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, she passed away really peacefully, and it was really sad, but she was, yeah, that was her story, I guess.
Yeah, beautiful. And that's one thing I do remember, Oma being very upbeat and positive still, even though she knew there was no cure, constantly trying to find that cure, but knowing she had limited time left. And she was always very happy and bubbly whenever we'd go around, continue to make us peanut butter sangers and whatnot. So, look, it was, you know, I guess she was such a lovely person, and that's one of the hardest things, I guess, knowing that there's no cure for this disease. So I guess the work you've been doing, some amazing fundraising. Do you want to tell us a bit about what we've got going on tomorrow?
Yeah, so we've 2 years ago we did this and it was really successful, and just in our little community we raised, I think it was $18,000 for scleroderma research, and so we thought we'd do it again this year. So we've got a bike ride down our local rail trail, just 10-kilometre bike ride to the little small community of Coonawarra, and they've got a lovely hall there where we're having an afternoon tea free, and we've got some awesome auction items, and we're having a silent auction, so you can come along and join in and put a bid in for some of the things, and we'll do a bit of a talk and try and raise some awareness for scleroderma, as well as some desperately needed funds. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you're in the local area around Gippsland, make sure you get down and tag along for the ride, throw some money at some of the auction items, and help raise some much needed funds for scleroderma. Mum's a sunflower hero, so a sunflower hero is where you are part of a team that organises fundraising events to help raise funds for finding a cure for scleroderma. So if you'd like to become a sunflower hero, jump on www.sunflowerheroes.com.au, get around the team. I'm a sunflower hero, Mum is, get part of it, and thanks for listening, and hope you guys have a great day.